I've been having a really hard time trying to figure out how to start this because I'm not trying to sound dismissive. I'm not trying to sound arrogant or ignorant. I'm honestly just trying to share with you a perspective that will help you heal. It's a kind of a blunt realization, or rather perspective. But the reality is you have to let it go. You have to let it go. There's no time. You don't have time to waste holding on to anger. There's no way you can get that time back. What's gone is gone. You might have had horror, and I'm not saying you haven't had horrific things happen to you. I'm not saying you haven't been broken up with, given divorce papers, stolen from, physically, verbally, socially abused. I'm not saying that people haven't done you wrong. I'm not saying that stuff isn't painful and doesn't affect you, nor changing the course of your life. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying when you focus on that and you continuously bring it up, or you hold on to the past, you never fully heal. You have to let it go. You have to go through the grieving process and then move forward. Right? And to show you my own personal story that I experienced that led me to believe that I have to just let pain go, or let trauma go, accept it, which sounds horrific to say, I understand, and it sucks saying it. This is what had happened to me that caused me to really see that letting go is in my best interest. So the story goes like this. I was 23, I believe. 23, 24. I had just moved across the country. Like from the farthest west to the farthest east. I traveled. And I traveled across to a different city for a relationship. Now, in this relationship, I was left at the airport. The person didn't show up. They were supposed to meet me there. They said they would meet me there. They didn't show up. I moved my life. I quit my job. I sold stuff to make sure I had extra funds in case emergency happened. I made sure, right? I was prepared. And they left me at the airport. I had no friends. I had no family in the city. I was now by myself at the airport, mind you. So I knew I couldn't process at the airport crying. That wasn't going to help me. So I go to the apartment I had rented. Now, this is in September 1st, 2020, like peak COVID. So hotels were kicking people out. So just remember that. So I go to my apartment I had rented. I sent the money. In advance, I saw the tour. It's all good. And I get to the apartment and it's a scam. I lost all my money. The person that opened the door said they had bought this house a long time ago, years ago. They lived here. They're not renting it. I said, oh my goodness. So person X doesn't own it and isn't renting it out? Of course not. I don't know who that is. Wow. Okay. So now I'm brokenhearted, have no friends or family in the city I live in. I have nowhere to stay. Hotels are kicking people out because they have to have only a certain amount of people per floor, I think it is. So so for multiple days, I was in a park, beautiful park, mind you, but with a big suitcase, a backpack, sleeping outside. Luckily, it didn't rain. Luckily, it was nice and warm, September. And I was charging my phone in Starbucks, in McDonald's, trying to find a hotel. Long story short, I eventually found an apartment. And I had the time to process. I had the time to decompress. I had the time to say, holy hell, that was terrible. I know it's not even done yet, but that was god awful. And for a while, I was going everywhere. I was going on social media telling people how the world has done me bad. I was just struggling. And eventually it just came to me where I hated the way I was acting. I was acting like somebody who didn't want to move on. I'm not saying it wasn't painful. I'm not saying that people aren't allowed to feel pain and express it. By no means, I'm not saying that. I just didn't want to remain in the pain. I had to move on. And it wasn't easy moving on. It was an unconscious thought at this point. I was thinking about it all the time. My life should have been so much better than what it was. And look what had happened. I had to let it go. I had to. I didn't have another choice. So, point of the story being, I understand that painful things cloud your mind and force you to, feel the pain, and it's almost like you don't want to stop feeling it. But the pain won't go away unless you just let it go. You can't beat pain. That's the thing. Like trauma, emotional situations, massive life changes. You can't beat it. You can't beat life. So to spend the time you have remaining on this earth on things that can't be undone will only ensure that your future is going to look just like your past. You can't get around it. If things crash and fail and you remain focused on what had happened, you'll never fully learn from it. And you'll remain in the same negative, painful state until you let it go. You have to be willing to take that leap of faith. Letting something go doesn't mean you didn't care about it. It doesn't mean that you don't care about it anymore. It means you're going to not allow it to hurt you anymore. I'm talking about it right now, that thing that happened in the past, but it doesn't control me. I processed it, I felt it, and I moved on. It's a situation that happened in my life. I'm grateful for it. I learned from it, finally. But I had to move on. You can remember it if you want to, or you don't have to, but you have to let it go.